Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're at. And welcome to the Houben Centre here in beautiful, sunny Ardoyne in North Belfast. I'm Sean Pender, and I have the honor to be the National President of the Ancient Order of Hibernians in the United States. You know, the Houben Centre is very special to both the AOH and LAOH and Irish America. We've been engaged for almost 25 years at a time when there was the Holy Cross siege. And we knew because of that, something good had to come out of it. And this is what has come out of it. So we were proud to play even a little part in making that possible. Today, we are so honored to be back here to once again present our yearly Freedom for Ireland Christmas Appeal grants. I want to personally thank all of those throughout the AOH who contributed to make this the most successful appeal ever. Today, we're going to hear from the 19 groups who will tell us why the support is still needed. And like I said, this year, a record amount was raised. And I want to thank especially our chairman, Martin Galvin, and our deputy chair, Bollbach, for the great work that they did all year round, because with them, it's a 12-month job. At this point, it's my great honor to present my good friend, Freedom for Ireland National Chair, Martin Galvin.
Carja, it's an honor to have all of you here. We each year raise the monies that are going to be distributed today on an annual basis. We make a Christmas appeal. We ask for funds because of the work that you do to support it. And each year we raise more and more money from across the United States because of the work that you do, and at Irish America and the AOH wants to be a part of it. Today, it's their chance to hear from you directly about the work that you do, how much you count on them, and it's your chance, again, to present the work that you do to Irish America. It will be recorded. It'll be live on Zoom now. It'll be on YouTube, and people will be watching it throughout the year. We can't thank you enough for the inspiration that you provide, and we are proud to help you and support you. We're going to begin with a group. Legacy justice is a key issue for the AOH. A key group leading the way, the campaign on that, is Relatives for Justice. And they not only do that, but Sean and I, the Ancient Order of Hibernians, rely on them for help and guidance and support in building our work in the United States throughout the year. We're going to begin with Mark Thompson, Relatives for Justice.
Martin, thank you, Sean. It's a pleasure to be here yet again and to be a recipient of this wonderful support. I kind of want to, Sean reflected on Holy Cross. 24 years ago, Holy Cross, the dispute. Sean Pender came to our office. He was from New Jersey. He walked in the door with 4 or 5 other guys and they said, what's going on? What's the story about the conflict? What's happening about collusion? We're hearing all those stories. That began a journey. He's now the AOH President of the United States. And in those 24 years, he's been to Congress countless times. He's engaged in countless briefings. He's supported families to go and give evidence before the US Congress. He brought the first ever cross-community delegation of victims impacted by collusion. He has organized Senate briefings with a Senate Majority Leader along with Martin Galvin. He's put legacy and legacy justice full square center of American policy, political policy in Ireland. He's been instrumental in getting the Irish government and convincing them through his contacts to take the interstate case against the UK. We would not be where we are with legacy. The Brits would not be in the dock for what they've done in our country had it not been for people like Sean Pender, Martin Galvin, Bollbach, and the AOH, and particularly all the people that are on the Zoom and listening in the webinar and all the support they have given us. It's been instrumental. We have moved mountains, and this is not a jar half empty, it's half filled. He stood with every family. Families in this room, they've stood on the issue and the ticket of equality and justice and reunification. And I'm looking around this room, and we've all been impacted in various ways, in multiple ways. We've all lost relatives. We've had relatives gone to jail. People in the room have been to jail. We saw the worst effects of conflict. And he is built on the principles of the Good Friday Agreement. The AOH has done that along with others in America and has put Ireland in the issues square and centre on every agenda. And I just want to personally thank Sean for 24 years of a journey that I've been involved with him along with AOH and people like Martin and Bob and Dot and others around this room. It's been inspirational. We have a way to go yet. We need to fill that glass. We need to get over the line on numerous issues and not let the British off the hook, and the Irish government keep to their word in terms of putting the Brits in the dock where they belong for legacy justice. I want to thank the delegation that are here. I want to thank everybody that's come in delegations down the years and supported the families and enabled us to do the work we do. The support that we get is not just the kind of grant, it's also the solidarity and the spade work and the political work. That is so vitally important. The combination of all of that is making a difference. You're making a difference. Thank you. Gora Mila Moigav.
Next, we'll turn to County Armagh, St. Patrick, the Heritage, and the St. Patrick Centre.
Thank you, Martin. President Pender, brother Hibernians, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tim Campbell. I'm the director of the St. Patrick Centre. It's the only centre in the world that's dedicated to St. Patrick. And I'm delighted to say that we have, over the last probably about 20 years, we have been the recipients of this grant, and it has helped us to bring young people together. Unity, charity, and respect are the three elements that we deal with. Bringing young people together to learn about their common Christian heritage is something that's very important. And we have worked with Sean and now with Martin. Congratulations, Martin, to you and Bob for your excellent work on the committee. And what we do is we bring over 2,000 young people together every year to learn about St. Patrick. Why learn about St. Patrick when you can be St. Patrick? So we've got a drama person who comes in. You help us pay for our costumes and getting those young people together from different traditions to learn, to work, to be able to work together and to have a common vision for uniting and bringing everybody together for the future. And it's something that's so important. You help us also, Martin, thank you for your support. Sean, all those years ago, we looked and we worked with Cardinal Dolan back in New York, and we were able to create this storybook, which we still use in the St. Patrick Centre. It went into every school in the Archdiocese of New York. We're still using that. We're still printing it with your support, and we're circulating it and bringing everybody together. So we really thank you for that. The centre also is involved with our Young Ambassador project, which 10 young Hibernians, young leaders of Irish America for the future are going to be involved with, and that's going to happen in June. So we thank the Ancient Order of Hibernians National Board, but we also thank all of you who are watching, who are in all those divisions, who have done all this work for the Freedom for All Ireland appeal, the Christmas appeal. We thank you sincerely. It makes a huge difference here in Ireland, and we thank you once again.
Next, we're going to go remotely to one of the groups in Zoom. We're going to go to County Tyrone, the group that works with former political prisoners, Republican political prisoners, ALU, and to Frankie Quinn.
Concertation, Kajama Tati and watching, Gora Mila Mayogat, Tamilan Sasta, a bit of showing you, the conch, we then again will start the Thanks very much, Martin. Again, it's nice to talk to you. Great to see everybody again on the webinar. And again, I'd like to thank Martin and his team there for another donation to the ALU office. The ALU office still continues to look after prisoners, ex-prisoners' families, and the wider community issues. We're also a cross-community organisation, and we work with some ex-loyalist prisoners as well. That's part of the brief here in ALU. We get very little funding from any structure within Ireland or England, and we go on voluntary subscriptions, and so the lakh of pound that has come from the AOH is greatly appreciated. The ALU organisation helps people with counselling, helps people with drink problems, drug problems, issues that have manifested themselves after a 30 or 40-year war. And now we're finding this cross-generational PTSD involved with ex-prisoners' children, ex-combatants' children, and within the wider community. So we continue to strive forward on that basis. And again, the donation from yourselves is greatly appreciated. And go to Mila Mayogat, and hopefully we'll see us again next year. Thanks very much.
We're now going to go back to Belfast, and I have to mention somebody who's not here, who's been here in the past, been here almost every year with Belfast National Grid. In fact, I used to joke that he was the first application that we would receive every year. That is Bick McFarlane, but National Grids goes forward. Have Joe Austin to speak about them.
Can I welcome the delegation back to Belfast? Can I thank Sean, Bob, and Martin? It's been a hard year, a tough year. We have lost Brendan McFarland, and it's been a bad loss, and it's a loss that we can't replace. The National Graves looks after 300 graves in Milltown Cemetery in Belfast. It's our Arlington Cemetery. We maintain graves and we maintain the Republican plots. We have 3 Republican plots and we have 1 monument. We couldn't do that without the partnership of the AOH. So I want to thank the AOH family. I want to welcome you, as I've said, back to Belfast. I want to tell you to keep up the good work, but you know better than I know how hard it is to raise a dollar anywhere. But in competition with such organizations that are here today, you've done a wonderful job and you continue to do it. Garamila Mayagat.
Mark Thompson mentioned some of the iconic campaigns of people who have led the fight for justice for families. And at the top of that list is Ballymurphy, John Taggart, the group whose verdict actually forced the British to come up with the ICRIR and the cover-up commission that they're trying to push on us now, and we're still fighting this. John Taggart.
My name is Sean Taggart. My father, Danny Taggart, was murdered with 10 of his neighbours and British paratroopers in Ballymurphy in August 1971. For years, the Ancient Order of Hibernians have been steadfast in our pursuit for truth and justice regarding the Ballymurphy massacre. Your unwavering support has strengthened our campaign and is a testament to the enduring spirit of solidarity that binds us together. I extend our deepest thanks for your generous grant. The vital contribution will empower us to continue our campaign, to amplify the voices of the bereaved, and to ensure that the memory of our loved ones is never forgotten. We stand united in our opposition to the ICAR and that institution that Lady Chief Justice Siobhan Keegan has rightly deemed not fit for purpose. We echo her concerns, and we will not rest until the British government bin and reinstate the inquest and uphold the principles of the truth and accountability and honours the dignity of those who have been murdered by state forces. The Ballymurphy massacre was not just an historic event, it was a brutal act that shattered families and left deep scars in our community. For too long, the truth has been obscured and justice denied, but thanks to your support, we will not be silent. With your support, we will continue to remember those we lost, ensure their names and their stories are etched into our collective memory, educate future generations about the atrocities committed by the state forces so that no such horrors are repeated. Challenge the flawed process that seek to undermine the justice and perpetuate impunity. Our campaign is simply not about the past, it's about the present and the future. It's about building a society with truth that prevails, where justice is served, and where the dignity in every human being is respected. The Ancient Order of Hibernians' commitment to our cause is a powerful affirmation to our shared values. It's a reminder that we are not alone in our struggle. Together we'll continue to fight for the truth, for justice and in memory of our loved ones. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to go remotely again. We're going to go to County Derry, to Derry City, and we're going to go to that group that is responsible for the People's Gallery, those beautiful murals that depict what happened during the civil rights days, the Bogside artists.
On behalf of the Bogside artists, my name's Tom Kelly, and without doubt, we want to thank Martin and Sean for just the support again this year. And I say again because we actually go back a long way with Dave Burke. About 30 years ago was our first point of contact with AOH America. And since then, Sean has been to Derry on numerous occasions and we've met up, and we never go without mentioning the support of the AOH to the existence of our work and the continued existence of our work. There's 12 murals altogether. They tell the story of the conflict. They're known internationally and nationally as the People's Gallery. And for the last 8 years, the only source of support has been the AOH, both the ladies and the men's AOH. So, I mean, without that support, again, the murals would fade away and that would be the end of it. We're not getting any younger, but we know and we put it in print and we will continue to sing the same song that the AOH this last 8 years have been the sole supporters of keeping the story alive. For first and foremost, it's there to edify our own community, the 12 murals in the Bogside, but it's also there to educate the visitor on the whole experience of imperialism, oppression, and all that went with the conflict in Derry and further afield. So thanks again to AOH America, thanks to Sean, and Gavin's actually with me. He might want to say something, I'm not sure, but.
Oh, well, Tom's just about said what we needed to say, but I just want to express my own gratitude too. We don't take it lightly, and we don't take it for granted either. And as Tom pointed out, it's the only source that we have for the upkeep of the People's Gallery. They've been there now for over 30 years. They're on one of the most historical streets in Derry, if not in Ireland. And they span the entire length of a very historical street. So they're very much now part of the Derry landscape. And as Tom pointed out also, that if without your support, they could eventually fade away. But we won't allow that to happen. And obviously with your continuing support, it won't happen. And it is a vital part of our history. And just to reiterate, I just want to say also on behalf of the Bogside artists, we are sincerely grateful for your support over the years and continuing support. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
In 1978, there was a national convention of the Ancient Order of Hibernians in Killarney that I actually attended, even though I don't look that old enough to go to a convention that long enough. And there was a resolution. That was the first start of a formal Freedom for All Ireland Fund. And at that time, because of the conflict that was going on, there was a vote. Didn't go to 19 organizations. It went to one organization. And that organization was to support Irish political prisoners through Green Cross and its affiliate organization, Ancum and Cara. And Green Cross is next. They're still working for Freedom for All Ireland today. Paul Wilt.
I'm very privileged to be here again today on behalf of the Green Cross Committee. As Martin said, the Green Cross itself was established in 1973. The aim was to look after the families of political prisoners. As time progressed and the motion went to the AOH, the Green Cross then began to receive annual support from the AOH committee. With the end of the conflict, effectively with the signing of the Good Friday Agreement, the focus of the Green Cross shifted from the families of political prisoners to those families who had lost loved ones during the conflict. A lot of the families are dependent on support from outside bodies, such as ourselves. There is an intergenerational trauma. Families who lost loved ones to the hands of the British Army, the RUC, loyalist paramilitaries. They have ongoing issues which need to be addressed and dealt with. So the focus of our Green Cross Committee in modern times is to look after the welfare of the families of our patriot dead. And as I say, it's an intergenerational thing. A lot of the wives, mothers, fathers, husbands have passed away, but the families that they have left behind and their children, their grandchildren, are still suffering the consequences of the trauma that was inflicted initially on their families. And we're very, very grateful to the AOH for their continued support. And on behalf of myself and the Green Cross Committee, I would like to say a massive Gora Míle Maith to those who have travelled up from America to be with us today, and to those listening or watching online. We're very, very grateful for your support, and we look forward to your continued support in the future. Gora Míle Maith.
And next, we have a group who's represented by a man. He was put into a New York City prison for a number of years. And the impact was such that they named the street outside the prison for this man, Joe Doherty Corner from Greater New Lodge.
Oh, it's going to take more than 3 minutes to talk about that, but I'll leave that. Gora Míle Maith, I'm Blaine Shaw Arish. Thank you, Bob, Sean, Martin Arish, and the AOH. As you know, I was a member, honorary member of the AOH in several states across America, including Canada, Massachusetts, Illinois, New York, Connecticut and stuff. It gave me great support over those 9 years. Very, very valuable against the weight of the US State Department to try to get me back. As the treasurer of the Greater New Lodge Memorial Committee, I'd like to thank you for this donation. It helps. Just a few weeks ago, we had the anniversary of a boy, a young lad, Fian Alsop, Robert Alsop. It was the 50th anniversary, and we had the honour of having several AOH from the women's AOH. They were there to witness the comfort and the honour we give, not just the young Robert, but the family. And that's the kind of work we do. We keep alive the memory of those who died, and particularly the family, to give support. And also to educate younger people in the area about the injustice. There's 137 names. People are killed through shoot to kill, loyalist bombings, assassinations, killing by British Army. And so it's to keep alive the memory, the maintenance of the memorial itself. It's beautiful, it's well attended, well groomed, well looked after. This money certainly helps us. So again, Martin, Bob, Sean, Gora Míle, thank you.
We're going to again go back remotely. We're going to go back to County Tyrone. We heard about the organization that preserves the graves of patriots in Belfast. And now we're going to go to Tyrone and the Tyrone National Graves Association with Eamon Hanna.
Fáilte Road got dinner and you. My name's Eamon Hanna. I'm chairperson of the association. First, I'd like to thank all the members of the men's AOH and the ladies AOH for all their generous support and donations throughout the years. It is very, very much appreciated. Just a little bit about ourselves. The Tyrone National Graves Association objectives are to restore and maintain the graves and memorials to our patriot dead in County Tyrone of every generation, and to commemorate those who died in the cause of Irish freedom. Tyrone National Graves Association was formed in the 1940s by former IRA volunteers from the War of Independence, who began work immediately at the erection of headstones and to Tyrone's Patriot Dead of the 1920-23 period. And this has continued ever since, right to this present day. Tyrone National Graves Association was instrumental in breaking the ban on commemorations in Easter 1949, 1950, and occupied 6 counties. On Easter Monday, 1971, Tyrone National Graves opened the Garden of Remembrance in Carrickmore, and with major works carried out again in 1991 and 2016. Since the opening of the garden, the Tyrone National Graves has been erecting and maintaining the headstones of our Patriot Dead, a task that we continue to do so with honour and pride. We do so with a voluntary, on a voluntary basis. The association has never deviated from its guiding principle, which is that only a 32-county Irish Republic represents the true aspiration for those who give their lives for Irish freedom. Tyrone National Graves Association is an autonomous body with no affiliation to any political party or organisation or group. So once again, your donations and help is very much appreciated. We get no state funding, so everything we get, it comes from donations from the likes of yourselves and from ordinary gate collections, chapel gate collections and such like. So once again, I'd like to thank all your members for their hard work, and thank you very much, and Gora Mogat.
The Ancient Order of Hibernians, since it was founded in 1836, has had at the top of its priorities freedom for all Ireland. Our next group is going to get a special introduction because of its relationship to that goal. Sean Pender, the national president, is going to introduce.
Thank you all again for attending. I just want to say, we may be small in numbers here, but, we speak for tens of thousands of members from our organization. I'm sure there's many members of the LAOH and the wider Irish American community. And we're very, very proud of the work that we've done in addressing the past to try to get truth for the people who so richly deserve it. But you'll see in these groups that we're addressing the past. We're talking about right now to try to make it better for everyone. But I think what's critically important is that we look forward to what Ireland, a united Ireland, could be. And that's why we're so excited to be working with Ireland's Future, a group that's been out for several years right now, but has looked at the wider picture of how do we bring these people together? How do we start these conversations? So the AOH is proud to be a major sponsor of an upcoming event this week in Philadelphia, when Ireland's Future will be there, with the keynote speaker being Leo Varadkar talking about that. Because it's very important that Irish America gets behind the unity referendum. And our structure and our strategy is to be the same about legacy. It is nothing more than the full implementation of the Good Friday Agreement. The Good Friday Agreement calls for that unity referendum, and with groups like yourselves and Irish Future, we can present to those elected officials that this is what we need to go. We need to get beyond the rhetoric, and we need to open it up to the people of the island of Ireland to make a decision based on what is best for them. And we're not talking about having this referendum right now. We're talking about having it in the early of the next decade, which I think is a sound, great strategy, and it gives us time to do the work. So with that, I'm so proud to announce one of the leads of Ireland's Future, Colm Harvey. Colm?
Thank you very much for the invitation to be here this afternoon. My name is Colin Harvey. I'm a board member of Ireland's Future, and our chair, Francis Black, our secretary, Niall Murphy, and our CEO, Jerry Carlisle, all send their very, very best wishes to everyone here today and watching online, as do our board members. We are a civil society organization, and our aims are fairly clear. We want to achieve a border poll. We want to win a border poll, and we want to deliver a united Ireland, and that's our primary objective. Over recent years, for example, last year in the SSE arena in Belfast, we brought political leaders from the island of Ireland, civil society, and people across this island and beyond into the SSE to talk about planning for the future. That is only one of a number of events. We've been in the 3 Arena in Dublin, we've been in the Waterfront Hall, and we've been in the Ulster Hall. We've had online events that have attracted thousands and thousands of people from Ireland and beyond. Last year, we launched a landmark publication, I would say that anyway, Ireland 2030, setting out a detailed pathway to a border poll and to achieving a united Ireland. Only recently, we have launched a podcast series, which I recommend to all of you in the room and all of you watching. It's a start of an ongoing dialogue. Leo Varadkar, for example, former Taoiseach, is the first interviewee in that series, and there's more to come. We've produced a number of detailed policy documents setting out proposals, and we are involved in both public and private high-level discussions with the objective of achieving a united Ireland. We would not be able to do that work without your invaluable support and the immense solidarity from Irish America for everything we do. We can't do this ourselves, so we very much value your ongoing support, solidarity, and assistance. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the hearts of all the Board of Ireland's Future. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to come back to Belfast for one of the cross-community groups that we support, Bridges Beyond Boxing and Joe Lowe.
Thanks, Martin. Thanks, Sean. I've been thrown in the deep end, guys. The guy who normally does the talking couldn't make it, so I'm kind of public speaking is not my thing, so I'm going to give it a go. Our program, Bridges Beyond Boxing, started in 2016. I was a former boxer myself, and many years traveling the world with it. I thought we got together a small group and put together this program, and it's just blowing out of control. We have exceeded far more than we started out to do. So it was one trip out to Detroit originally, and we've been out in Detroit every year from that. The flip thing is we've had kids back here from America here over in Belfast taking and we're currently bringing a team in from Boston and Buffalo this year in May. So this is our 9th year doing what we're doing. And honestly, guys, it would take you to be there to see the effect that it has on our kids, because our kids are from both sides of the community. Kids from the Shaggle, kids from the Falls, kids from Donegal, kids from and when we get them all together, they're all one. And that is what we want. You know, this room is much about a united Ireland, a new Ireland. And that's what it looks like to me. What you see with our groups, and we're taking them away out of their comfort zones. And it's fantastic. So we're dealing with now with Boston, we're dealing with Buffalo, we're dealing with Cincinnati. Had some recent talks with Atlanta, Ryan Curry in Atlanta. So thanks very much for all your support.
Our next group, it's amazing efficiency. On March 15th, we sent out, we had come up with the awards, and we notified this next group, the O'Neill Alsop Band, that they were going to get a grant. And Martin McDade came up to me on March 17th and thanked us for it, acknowledged the award. They were there already 2 days later. But they're represented today. I think Joe Doherty talked about one of the volunteers who was killed in that area, Greater New Lodge, and the band that's there, the flute band in that name, they're here today, and they also were a award grant winner. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends and comrades, it is my great honour to stand before you today on behalf of the O'Neill Alsop Memorial Flute Band to extend our heartfelt thanks to the Ancient Order of Hibernians from the USA for your incredible support and generosity. Your funding has come at a vital time for our band and for our community. Based in the heart of the New Lodge, North Belfast, our band was formed in memory of two young local lads, Jim O'Neill and Robert Alsop, both proud members of Na Fianna Éireann. Their lives were tragically cut short during the difficult days of the 1970s. The O'Neill and Alsop Memorial Flute Band was established to ensure their names, their spirit, and their ideals live on, not just as names on a banner, but through music, memory, and community action. In an area that continues to face social and economic hardship, our band offers young people a place of pride, purpose, and learning. We give them the opportunity to channel their republicanism positively through music, through education, and through connection to their roots. We teach them to not only play an instrument, but to understand the songs, the stories, and the history of Ireland's struggle for freedom. We attend hundreds of commemorations across Ireland and further afield, ensuring that Ireland's patriot dead are never forgotten. Through your support, we can continue this important work. We can attract new members, invest in instruments and uniforms, and ensure that the legacy of Jim O'Neill and Robert Alsop is carried forward by a new generation of young people, proud of who they are, proud of where they come from, and proud of the history they inherit. The Ancient Order of Hibernians has a long and proud tradition of supporting Irish communities, both at home and abroad. Your solidarity means the world to us. It reminds us that our history, our culture, and our struggles are shared, and that no matter the distance between us, we stand together as one. On behalf of every member of the O'Neill and Alsop Memorial Flute Band, past and present, and on behalf of the New Lodge community, thank you. Thank you for believing in us, for supporting us, and helping us continue this important journey of remembrance, education, and music. Garmid Amalgam.
We're going to go again back to a remote connection, back to Derry City. At one time, this event always took place in the end of January, because it was based around the Bloody Sunday March. And we still support them. We have the Bloody Sunday Trust today represented by Maeve McLaughlin.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to get a chance to say a few words to you all today. Your support for the issue of Bloody Sunday over decades has been vital to the campaign for justice. I suppose it's not an underestimation to say that Bloody Sunday is most certainly in the DNA of the city of Derry, and was certainly my first, and many people of my generation, our first experience of British injustice and subsequent cover-up. And the support that has come from the AOH and others has been instrumental to supporting the families over decades to campaign for public inquiry. And it is worth noting that the issue of Bloody Sunday, whilst much has been achieved, is not fully resolved, whilst the issue of prosecutions is still ongoing. And it is important to note that the only British soldier in the dock for Bloody Sunday, Soldier F, will appear in court, and the court date is now set for the 15th of September of this year. And I would appeal to all of you, near and far, to show your national and international solidarity on that day. It's hugely significant that the families have got this to this point. And the families very much, in their resilience and dignity, indicate that a justice for one is justice for them all. So I ask you to consider that date. I also stress that the piece of work that we do alongside of that has been the incredibly important and significant Museum of Free Derry, which has exceeded all of our expectations in relation to visitor numbers, which tells the story as it is, truthfully, of what happened on the streets of this city, what the British government did and what their British Army did on the streets of this city in 1972. It is also a place of education. It is a place where we will not let that story be untold. So it's critically important that we encourage all of our visitors internationally to continue to come to understand that story and put it in the context of the current day. We promote this story internationally. We promote our lessons and learnings internationally of a place coming out of conflict. And we are engaging with organizations such as the Civil Rights Trail in the United States and other parts of the world. So I genuinely want to thank you on behalf of the Bloody Sunday Trust and indeed the Bloody Sunday families for all of your support for many, many, many years, and know that there is always an open door for you here in Derry and indeed in the Museum of Free Derry. Thank you.
We now have one of our cross-border groups that we support from the Louth, South Armagh area, Duchess Soria.
Thank you, and on behalf of Duchess Oriel, we want to thank Martin, Sean, all the AOH family and the ladies AOH who have contributed to, and all those who have contributed to the Freedom of All Ireland Fund. Your kind donations are appreciated here at home. Duchess Oriel translates as a native or from Oriel, which is the name of the area of land in South Armagh, North Louth, where we're based. During the conflict, we were targeted by the Brits and branded bandit country. Since the Good Friday Agreement, the area has been fighting to shed that label or stigma placed upon it, and that's where we come in with your help through your donations. Ireland has a reputation worldwide of being a land of culture, with its history, legends, language, dancing, songs and folklore. And nowhere is that more true than South Armagh, with its unique history and flair for storytelling. We are based in beautiful Cullen in Mullaban, but we're still living in a fractured society where our culture is still fighting for parity of esteem. For example, we've seen in the last couple of weeks a new state-of-the-art bus train terminal in Belfast was opened, but the signs were solely in English. Our own language was ignored, and there are ructions from certain quarters about having to cater for our native speakers. When something is being attacked, then it needs to be protected, and that's why we need laws to do that. James Connolly said, "You can't teach a starving man Irish." And South Armagh, where we're based, is still designated an area of deprivation. But with your help from your kind donations from America, we've been able to fund and host Gaelic classes for 4 terms last year, and we've seen an increase in class sizes. Irish dancing groups are also subsidised, with age groups ranging from 4 years to young adult. Our numerous history projects have been very successful this year, and there's great buy-in from the families from the local area. The art of storytelling is very important to maintain our local history, and the good people of South Armagh are building on their strong sense of identity, and through our work at Duchess Oriel and Cullen, we're teaching future generations to have pride in their culture, their heritage and their past. With the help of you in America, the AOH and the LAOH, we're providing projects that will help heal the fractured society, to provide an outlet for us to express ourselves emotionally in an honest way as we see it through drama and culture, to keep our local history alive through stories and storytelling, and even through song and dance. South Armagh always had a rich tapestry of traditional Irish culture and ways. Duchess Oriel is relevant, appropriate and vital in the South Armagh area, especially in today's times. We have a long road ahead of us as we move from the dialogue phase to the action phase of our United Ireland campaign. But your donations and fundraising that you're helping us to build an Ireland that our culture will thrive in. And we want you to know that we appreciate everything that you're doing, and every dollar that you raise goes directly to the project.
About a year ago, the AOH was notified about a young man who was due from this very area to go to New York and Washington and Florida on a youth tour together with other members of a youth group, an Ardoin youth group, and was originally denied the opportunity to come, not because of anything that he had done, but because his family had a connection to the Republican struggle, which, you know, had the Good Friday Agreement years before this young man was even born. We were able to help them get to the United States, and importantly from that, we were able to get to the attention of the work of the Ardoyne Youth Club. We encouraged them to apply for a grant, and we're proud to have them here as a first-time grant winner of the Ardoyne Youth Club.
Hello everyone, my name's Stephen Conner and I'm a youth worker at the Ardoyne Youth Club. Ardoyne Youth Club's been at the heart of the community for over 50 years. In that time, it's become a safe space of support network and a place of opportunity for generations of young people. We are incredibly proud of the work we do and the difference we make every single day. We currently support hundreds of young people every week of a wide range of services tailored to meet their needs. These include one-to-one mentoring services, counselling services, group work, community action projects, outreach work, and work in the schools. Our popular drop-in service is, we would have over 180 to 100 in every night. It's very popular from young people aged 7+. We work with people right up to 25 years of age, but we'll never turn anyone away who's over 25 either if they need help. Whether it's a listening ear, helping a young person through a tough time, or providing opportunities to grow, learn, and lead, our aim is always the same: to help young people reach their full potential. However, youth work continues to face constant pressure, especially when it comes to funding. Despite the life-changing impact that it does have, our sector is constantly cut. It's always the one that is sort of underappreciated, and it's always hard to find money. And that's why the support of organisations like AOH is really important. Your generosity helps us maintain and grow the service we provide to ensure that no young person's left behind. Young people in Ardoyne are in so much need and so much help. With a deprived area, we constantly want to go from above our own job roles, what we do to provide the best opportunities for young people in Ardoyne. So on behalf of myself and the team, and most importantly the young people that we serve, thank you. Your support helps us and keeps the doors open, and our hearts are coming at the further work that we do. So thank you.
Before our next group, I just want to acknowledge someone who's just come in. You may have seen him on the front page of the papers yesterday. He had a tremendous legal victory on behalf of representing Sean Brown and getting a court order from the Court of Appeals telling the British Secretary to give this family the public inquiry to which it has been entitled for so many years. Niall Murphy. And I mentioned Joe Doherty. He was a speaker, somebody who was in the United States and fought an iconic fight that brought the attention of so many Americans to justice. And of course, we have someone else who led a campaign fighting deportation, again from Belfast, and which again brought home to so many Americans, so many congressmen especially, about what the issues involved in the North of Ireland were all about. Malachy McAllister. Okay, we have another first-time applicant from Belfast, the Eileen Hickey History Museum, and we are fortunate to have the sister of Eileen Hickey here representing the museum as a first-time grant winner.
Just like to thank everyone for their generosity towards the museum. Eileen was the first officer commanding the girls in Armagh prison. So Eileen had the idea for the museum so that the Republican side of the story could be told by Republicans, plus the artifacts that were made in the prisons could be kept and preserved for the future. That's all I've got to say, but thanks very much for everybody that contributed. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go for the last remote entry. That's the Martin McGuinness Foundation. I know Paul Cavanaugh had some trouble connecting before. I'm giving a thumbs up that he's here now. Paul Cavanaugh, the Martin McGuinness Foundation.
Thank you for that introduction, Martin. And just on behalf of the foundation, we would like to thank the Ancient Order of Hibernians for granting this award. It's not the first time we've received this. We've had it for over a number of years, and we're eternally grateful for that. We also want to thank everyone who has contributed to the AOH appeal in order to make days like this happen. Part of the funding we receive from the AOH is given out in bursaries to help young people from disadvantaged backgrounds to get a better start in life. And previous recipients have said to us, receiving the Martin McGuinness Peace Foundation bursary had a life-changing impact on me. During the completion of my master's thesis, I was suffering major health problems and had to leave my part-time job as a result. That part-time job was funding my studies, and I was on the verge of needing to leave my Master's Peace and Conflict Studies at that stage. Another recipient said to us, I want to thank Martin McGuinness Peace Foundation and the AOH for the bursary that I was awarded. Student loans are not often enough to cover all the university fees, and this bursary has given me the means to attend the university, have access to a greater education, and prepare me for my future. Another part of the funding we receive from yourselves goes to help promote Irish traditions and culture. Every year, the foundation organises a Gaelic Blitz competition, where the focus is getting young boys and girls to participate in Gaelic sports. The Blitz itself covers the 4 codes, the GA codes, boys and girls football, camogie, and hurling, and is an essential part of reminding our young people of the traditions culture. Your funding is going to help towards our people prepare for a better life in a new Ireland. And just listen to all the awards we've given out here today. It's important to acknowledge that the work of the AOH is actually helping to share and shape a new future for our country. And for that, we're very thankful. Thank you.
We're almost finished. We have our last 2 speakers. Before doing that, we just want to thank, first of all, we have a whole team who've been working so that you could hear and that our people across the country could see and hear from the groups who are on this remote, like the Martin McGuinness Foundation, Tyrone National Graves, and the others. We want to thank Ray Lynch, our National Secretary, Danny O'Connell, our past president, Tim Noonan and Chris Cook. Chris just got back from Ireland this morning. And thank everybody who helped to put together the technical arrangement so that those voices could be heard at this event today and be part of the YouTube, part of the webinar that will be aired and watched by our members across the country. So thank you. And now there's, I've said before, no good deed goes unpunished. Our next to last speaker is the person who put together all of the filming, made all of this possible, the sound, everything, all of the technical assistance. Sean and I, we're really good at this. We say, what do you want us to do? And he usually tells us, get out of the way and we're okay. Sean Murray from the Witness Project.
Okay, I'd like to thank everyone for coming here today. I want to thank the AOH and the LAOH for all your help. For another year, again, we're able to continue with the Witness Project, which will once again advocate on behalf of victims here in the North. I think the project now is running for over 5 years. The work that we do gives us space and a bit of time to research and look at some of the marginalized voices that's never had their voices heard during the conflict. So it does give us the time and the space to do that. And I want to thank young Kiva for coming today, for pulling this all together with me, because it was more or less done at the last minute. And it's young people like Kiva that we can give space to also with regards to research and become involved in the film projects that we're all getting old ourselves now, so it's about the next generation also. Not just about the next generation in regards to the testimonies, but about the next generation that will continue the fight that we've been all involved in ourselves for so many years. So thank you all once again. We appreciate your donations, and without your donations, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you.
And again, in the spirit of no good deed goes unpunished, our host, the person who made this facility possible for us to use, Father Gary Donegan, Passionate Peace Center.
I can hear Michael Hanna saying 3 minutes would be a possibility because Michael can't keep quiet and I can hear him in the distance. Passionate has been here since 1869. The first parish to be run by a religious order in Ireland, and none of us have ever been under a clock for 3 minutes in that time. Now this, as Sean said, and I want to particularly thank Sean and Martin and Bob and all who are associated with the AOH and LOH down the years, because it goes way back to the Holy Cross blockade when Father Aidan and I were in the center of that terrible, difficult experience, but particularly for the parents and for the children at the time and those involved in their education. And as a result of that, we had a dream. The dream was to build a place of peace and reconciliation, a place where people from all backgrounds could come and be welcomed and be part of a new Ireland, and also the development of the Peace Office. And that was down to people like the AOH, who began supporting us from all those years ago. And during that time then, we've been involved in many things: parades, Twiddale, detentions. Again, it hasn't gone away. There is a renewed tension around parading again over the last couple of years, and we're aware of the tensions. Easter used to be very much a time that was associated with celebrations to do with commemoration of 1916 and republicanism, but now many of the contentious areas around loyalism and around Orangism. So we're worried about the future in terms of the 12th of July Tour of the North. Other work that we're involved in, great to see Ardoyne Youth Club here, is the My Choice programme, 12th year that we have taken young people from both sides of the community out to South Africa, where they've been working in abject poverty, living and working in townships, exposed to juvenile prisons where there are child murderers, meeting armed gangs, etc. And we've been involved in that. Of course, the Peace Office is involved in feuds of many different kinds, and there's presently ones going on at the moment. This very place, and within probably a couple of inches from here, we had former Minister of Foreign Affairs Simon Coveney, TD, hadn't to be evacuated out of here, but some of you that were present when the inaugural Hume Peace Foundation speech was made, and subsequently had to come back here to deliver this, the speech. You've heard about Ireland's future. It's a possible visit for myself this week to Philadelphia. Health depending, as you know, I've lost sight in this eye, and there's an issue around flights and pressure, but that will be present there, and be wonderful to be part of that with all those involved in that, and obviously former Taoiseach Leo Varadkar. The dream that Father Aidan and I had many, many years ago was to establish a peace chair here in Ardoyne, particularly in the Houben Centre, directed by the Peace Office. And maybe part of that trip was to meet with Megan O'Sullivan, formerly of the O'Sullivan Haas talks connected to Harvard University, and twin that between Harvard and Queen's University. I want to particularly, at a personal level, extend my thanks to the LAOH and the AOH for their message of sympathy following the loss of my mother not too long ago, and in that mold also to remember Bick and Ted Howell, whom we've lost in the last few months, and also the young man that you were talking about earlier that was being denied access to the States. I buried his granduncle during the week as well, a former patriot. And of course, to be involved in justice, we can only have peace, and true and lasting peace, if there is justice. And legacy is a big part of that. We lost one of the great icons of Gaelic football in the last 24 hours, and Mick O'Dwyer, 4 times winner as a player, Texaco Player of the Year, as a player himself, but also 8 times as manager of All Ireland winning teams. And it's a very poignant time for all Gaels at this time. But also, when we speak about legacy, it's very important that we think about Sean Brown in this past week, and it's great to have Niall with us here today, pushing for justice in that legacy. And as only the irony of life can be, when I leave here in a few minutes' time, I go out to Dundrum to do the month's memory of Mary Keelty, whose husband Jack was murdered, and he was the chair of the Dundrum GAA. So all of us together are involved in working at different levels for peace and for justice, and for bringing and making a place that is different and better for everybody in our society. And the one thing that we're very, very grateful for all of us, is the generosity of the AOH and the LAOH. It's never easy asking for funding. As church organisations, none of this was done with grants. I live in a wee place called Newtown Butler, or it's my home place in County Fermanagh, right on the border. There's a beautiful peace centre worth millions in Clonus. I've never seen the Garda Síochána with TSG gear or water cannon in Clonus unless Fermanagh was playing Antrim. But the reality is impossible. So people like Aidan Troy and I have stood outside formerly Casement Park with buckets shaking. We've done abseils down the Europa. We've done black tie events. We've done golf classics. The AOH's ability to be able to support us from a distance. And as was said earlier, it's not just the finances, it's the solidarity, it's the sense of people wanting to show us that they're behind the work that we do. And as I said, it's never easy to ask, so it's so grateful. There was a priest one time, and he was noted for asking for money all the time. On one time, on Palm Sunday, he stood up and he said, "My dear people, my dear, dear people, you know I'm always asking for money, but on this occasion, my dear people, I am not going to ask for a penny. In fact, I'm going to give you these palms, not the pieces of evergreen that we normally use, but the whole way from the Holy Land. And here it is, my gift to you." But he couldn't help himself. As he said this, he said, "But remember, if you do feel so inclined to give a donation, remember, palms don't grow on trees." Right? Thank you for being here. You're always welcome. Thanks again for everybody, and have a lovely evening.
I didn't know if anybody else felt it, but I was listening to the helicopter up ahead. It was like old times in Belfast for me. No to my jokes, Meg. Look, we do want to thank everyone who is here. Across the country, this video, this YouTube will be watched today by people who contributed. It'll be watched throughout the year again and again. We'll get 10 times as many viewings in future as we start with today, just through the weekend. Sean keeps talking about how Bob and I are very successful. We've raised record numbers each year in a Christmas appeal. The reason we do it is because we just play your words. We talk about your work. We use the inspiration that you provide. And that's what touches people's hearts, Irish Americans' hearts. That's what makes them feel, no matter how many generations or years they are away from Ireland, that they're with you, that they're behind you, they want to support you in any way that they can. That's what our Christmas appeal is all about. That's what today is all about. So thank you for today and for the inspiration that you provide to us throughout every day of every year. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.